Hello students, good morning. So today we are going to start a topic called as the problem solving using C. So when we start with the C program topic, I am just continuing the topic here from the previous one. So I am just clarifying you with that. I have just started the topic from the beginning. Meanwhile, I will be continuing the topics from the previous classes also. I had already completed algorithm and flowchart. So many students told me that the recording is not so what is the clarity. We are not getting the clarity. So I am just planning to do the session by using the board itself. So let us begin with the class. What the computer system is. So you already know, we have seen the computer system. So if you know also, not an issue. So just listen to the thing. If you have any new extra thing which I am telling, you can observe it. Okay, you can grasp it, so that the new content will reach you. So I am just starting the session for the students who don't know anything about the computers. Okay. Anyhow, all of you have seen the computer in this way. Means I am just writing the diagram on the desktop computers, which means the personal computers. I am not drawing any laptops or smartphones here. Just a normal regular desktop computer I have just drawn here. So you should be knowing. So when you have joined DCA or any other computer related course, for the very basic thing is you should identify the parts of a computer. So this will be done by very small kids also. But if you don't know, suppose if you don't know the things, then you need to learn the parts of a computer first, because the learning starts from hardware level to software level. So first we should be knowing what is the hardware procedure here. So now we have the system. This part is called as monitor. So this is called as monitor. It displays the information. It will not take any input actually. It displays the information from the computer system. So where the user can view it. So this is called as what? Output device. This is called as an output device. So there are two types of devices, input device and output device. So monitor comes under output device. So another example for output device is printer. Very good example is printer. And you have a projector. So all these things are what? Output, which means the flow of a data is coming from system to the outside world. So that is called as output device. Again, I have just written some picture, the diagrams over here. This is called as keyboard and this is called as a mouse. So you will be knowing, absolutely you should be knowing all these things. So then also I am just writing for a convention purpose. So this is called as a keyboard and this is mouse. Both the devices are what? Both the devices are input devices. What do you mean by input device? The flow of a data starts from outside world and it flows towards the computer system. So when we have a computer system and the data is flown from outside world to computer, it is called as input device. So keyboard, mouse is the best example for input device. So we have several other input devices also, like scanner. We have a joystick to play the games. All these things comes under a input device. And we have a very special thing over here. What is that special thing? You should be knowing these things called as CPU. What is the abbreviation of a CPU? Central Processing Unit. Okay. So again, this will have some other sections like ALU, Arithmetic and Logic Unit. Again, we will be having a control unit, CU. We call it as CU. Again, we have MU. MU stands for a memory unit. Again, in memory we have several subdivisions like secondary memory, primary memory. Secondary memory we have a hard disk, primary memory we have a RAM and ROM. So these are all the things comes under CPU as a component. So now you should understand what are the components or hardware things, hardware devices which will be having in a computer system. Same thing will be there in laptop also and your phone also. So what is another thing in CPU? We have a processor. Got it? So these are all the things we should be knowing. So before starting with the syllabus, so I'm just giving introduction part regarding what is computer system actually is. See, I need to tell you some other thing because we are learning a programming language here. When we learn a programming language, the communication takes place from user to the system, which means I am the human being. I need to communicate with whom? With the computer system. So is it possible to communicate in such a way that I am speaking in English, I am speaking in Kannada or any other regional language so that it can understand? It is not like that. So when I speak, you are a human being, you can understand the things, but computer system cannot understand my language. So we have to prepare ourselves to make a communication from our side to system side. That means so from source to destination. So for this, what we require? We require program. When we have a program, so that can be compiled, that can be interpreted, then we can pass it on to the system, so that system can understand what it is, understand what the problem is, then it can provide a solution for that. So it makes the user to work with the problems in a comfortable manner. So we have many things here. We are totally depending upon a computer system. If you go to any field, medical field or any college, any of the field, whatever you like, aerospace, then other aeronautics, okay, many space, all the fields, whatever we have today, everything depends upon whom? Everything is depending upon a computer system. Then how it was enabled to make such a efficient manner? Because we are totally on a computer world now. So for that, what is very essential? Program is very essential. We need to write a program in such a way that it has to communicate with the computer in a specific manner. So likewise, we have these components. Now, coming to the next session here, next topic is types of software. See, I am just telling about a program. Actually, program is what? Program is a collection of instructions. Athava, program is a collection of a set of instructions or collection of statements. What kind of statements? Proper statements which has to be follow some rules. Some rules will be there to write a program. Correct? So when we have a rules, when I collect the programs together, then it makes what? When the programs are collected together with some numbers. So that is called as what? Software. So program is a collection of instructions. Software is a collection of programs. So both the things are very mutually, it is going in a parallel way. So that is why we have to learn both the things together. So when we have learned about program, we should know what the software is. See, software is just a virtual device actually. It is not like this. It is not like monitor or keyboard. It is a virtual device. We can use it. Like Facebook or WhatsApp. We can use it. Yes, of course I can use the Facebook or WhatsApp, but I cannot directly touch it. Okay? We can use it, but we cannot touch and feel. It is not possible. I cannot hold the WhatsApp in my hand. It is not it is impossible actually. Understood? But software is a very useful thing. But let us learn the types of software here. First we have system software. What is the first type of a software actually? It is called as system software. Again we have a second type of a software. It is called as what? Application. So system software and application software. What do you mean by system software? What do you mean by application software? Those things you have to learn as a introductory part. So when we have a system, so we must have system software also, because I just told you that computer system cannot understand what you speak. Computer system cannot understand what you type. Computer system cannot understand what you record. Nothing is possible. It only depends upon what? With only one signal called as 0 1 0 1 kind of thing. Means it is what? It is a binary language. The complete structure of a computer system is designed on a language called as binary language. It is also been called as machine language. It is also called as a machine language. Got it? So when I have the machine language, I can communicate with the computer system because these zeros and ones are what? Electric pulses. When we have a voltage which is higher, when we have a power supply, then it is said to be called as 1. When we have a means when we don't have a power supply or as electric pulse, it is said to be what? 0. Again 1, again 0. Like this, the communication will take place in a system, so that electricity will be controlled just like a switch. Okay, when I switch on the switch, light will glow. When I switch off the switch, light will off. This is the only common technique the system uses. But I cannot keep on writing zeros and ones because we are unable to understand. We cannot understand what it is. So we need what? We need a system software. So system software is a very essential part for the computer. See, I have just drawn a diagram here. At first, I have just made the diagram in a circular base. Okay. At first, we have hardware. What is that hardware? This entire component, whatever we have like monitor, keyboard, mouse, all input and output devices, memory devices, again ALU, control unit, the cables, everything is what? Everything is comes under a hardware. So at first circle, the basic level is hardware level. So who will support the hardware level? I have just written here. If you cannot access, please zoom in and see. So system software. Hardware is directly connected to whom? System software. Again, system software is connected to whom? Application software. This application software is used by whom? We the users. Okay, so we cannot directly use hardware. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರ್ ನ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. So I cannot access RAM ಮುಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಏನು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. It has to go with whom? It has to go with application software. From application software to system software. From system software to we should reach the hardware level. Got it now? So these are all the techniques we have to see. Means we should understand the procedure. Now there are some things actually. See, let me erase this. The system software is divided into some of the types actually. The types are that it is a normal thing. See, first type is called as compiler. Means these are the types of a system software what I am going to write on a board. So second one is interpreter. Again we have assembler. Again we can mention as loader. Fifth we can mention it as linker. Got it? So you must learn what are these, but I cannot or we cannot use the software like system software directly because we are bit far away from system software. So we cannot access the system software directly because we cannot understand what it is. It has been designed by chipset programmers. So if you learn a chipset program, you can become a developer of a system software. It is not an impossible task actually, but it is quite difficult to understand. So compiler, interpreter, assembler, loader and linker. We learn what are these things. So I will just explain what are the components actually. But first we learn what are the softwares. So at first software is divided into how many types? 2 types. What are those? Application software and system software. So we are learning a process called a system software at first. So system software is a software which is designed to access hardware, which means it is working only on a system oriented environment. Andre system ಏನೇನು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್. ಯೂಸರ್ ಕಡೆ ಗಮನ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಶೋ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್. It always shows the focus on whom? System. What is required for the system? what memory is required, where to load, where to unload, where to delete, where to access, everything will be taken care by the system software. So upon this we have application software. So application software is a user friendly software. Whatever the software which you are using, which we are accessing, everything comes under what? Application software. Correct? So some examples I'll give you. See, we have Microsoft Office. Okay, it is a simple example which I am going to give you actually. So Office, we have several types again. Word, we have PowerPoint, Access, we have Outlook, we have many components will be there in MS Office. Can I use MS Word directly? Yes, of course we can use, but that is been controlled by whom? Background, it is been controlled by a system software. I can access the MS Word, I can save it, but where that file is stored, that will be decided by whom? System software. Got it now? So once it goes to the RAM, it should go to the secondary memory. Everything, that path will be decided, the things are decided by the system software only. Like we have plenty of games, and we have a smartphone which you are using. We have n number of applications if you are Android or Mac OS users. So we have lakhs together of applications. All those applications are designed for the purpose of whom? For the users. ನಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನರ್ಸ್, ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನರ್ ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಶೇರ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲಾಟ್ ಮೆನಿ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್, ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್. Okay, and we have lot many things which is for marketing, share market, and also everything is designed for the purpose of users. Got it? So these are all the things we have to learn based on software. Got it now? ಈಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, so the class will be effective. Got it? So I hope this board session is helping you better than the recorded session. Understood? So if it is the thing, please reply me. In our WhatsApp group, you can reply me whether you are understanding the topics or not. If you're not understanding, I'll just go for another methods also, because we are both are in a learning process. You should also learn, I should also learn. Got it? So these are all the contents we have to learn in our computer as a basic level. Next we learn what are the languages. So just now we have learned about application software and system software. Now I'll just let you know how the system software is used. So for system software to be understood, before we should learn the languages. So what are languages actually? We have we'll be speaking the languages like English, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, lot many languages. Okay, we have a national language, we have state language, we have regional language, many things we have. But we are learning what? Computer language. When we are learning a computer language, we must know the categories. So there are actually 3 categories of a computer language. It is been categorized. Completely it is been categorized. So the first category of a language is called as high level language. Second category of a language is called as middle level language. And again we have a low level language. So these are all the 3 categories. Perfectly they have divided. What is high level language? The high level language is a user oriented language. Whatever we speak, whatever we understand, that language comes under a category called as high level language. And again we have a middle level language. This middle level language is actually a partial one. So 50% of the program or content user can understand. Another partial part is understandable for the system, not for the user. And again we have a low level language. What do you mean by low level language? It is a binary language. Just now I told you zeros and ones. So zeros and ones comes under a category called as low level language. Okay, so we have these many categories. Why I am explaining this? Why we require this? Because we need a special component called as translators. We need a translators because we cannot understand. We are unable to understand what the system understanding. Okay, we cannot understand the low level language. For that we need a translator. How the translator works? It is just a common thing. If you go to any unknown place, so you keep a translator where you cannot speak their language. Again, we have a Google Translator also. Whatever you speak, that will be translated to their language. So we have a lot many translators for high level language itself. But when we are communicating with the computer system, we require in a higher level of translators as well. So this translator, how it works? Actually, this works like we have a source program. We have a source program, and in between we have a translator. In between we have a translator. This translator translates to the object program. So the arrow mark goes like this. So source program is my language, object program is system oriented language. Okay, source program translates to object program. In this example, we have one system software I just written in the types actually. The first one is called as what? Compiler. What does compiler will do? Compiler converts high level language into low level language. Okay, so the compiler here in translator who will reside? The compiler converts or else it translates high level language to low level language. So these are all the things we should know. So here is the first thing of a compiler. I think you have understood what is compiler. It converts high level language to low level language. Means if you are speaking English, that English language will be translated to which language? Binary language. Again, we have another sector called as assembler. What is assembler actually? Assembler converts middle level language. Okay, middle level language to low level language. So here who will be there? So when we say compiler, it is for high level language. When we say assembler, it is for middle level language. You will be learning what is middle level language in your another subject called as digital electronics. And few part you will understand when you go to 5th semester. There you will learn microprocessor, and 6th semester you have a system programming. There completely you are going to understand what is middle level language. Understood? Now we have a compiler and assembler. Again we have another type called as interpreter. What is interpreter? Interpreter just works like a compiler. It converts high level language to low level language, but it is converting the parts of means the statements of a program line by line. It is not going to take information as a whole completely. It will not translate, but rather completely it is just going for a line by line procedure. That is why it is called as interpreter. So interpreter, the Java utilizes interpreter, C and C++ utilizes what? Compiler. So when you execute a program, we don't say interpret, we say compile. So fourth one we have loader, and fifth one we have linker. What is the work of a loader? So whatever the program you have executed which is being converted to object program, so that has to be loaded onto the memory first. First it should go to the primary memory. From primary memory it should be segregated to the registers. From registers it should store it onto the secondary memory for execution, saving. So for storage purpose everything will be taken care by whom? Loader. So it determines where the address, okay, it identifies the address of a program or a code or a module. Then in a specific location the loader will load it onto the memory. That is the work of a loader. And one more we have linker. See, once you write a program, the entire program will not store in the same place. The program will get divided just like a segments. Okay, then part of a program will be stored in different address location. That is why we call random memory. So RAM, what is the abbreviation of a RAM? Random access memory. So the information is not stored in sequentially 1, 2, 3 like that. It is not storing. The information is getting shattered. Okay, so once the information is shattered, so information need to be linked one after the other, because once we retrieve the information we need access of what? In a proper organization. It should be organized. So for that linker is the responsible system software. I hope So these topics are very, which means it is reaching you. So it will be better for me. So now we have translators. What are the translators? We have compiler, assembler, and interpreter. Okay, loader and linker will not come under a translator. It is doing a separate special task actually. So what is the work of a compiler? It converts high level language to low level language. What is the work of assembler? It converts middle level to low level. What is the work of interpreter? High level language to low level language, but line by line. So these are all the topics which has to be learned in a very basic introduction of a C program, which means problem solving techniques of C.